Hello students, let me welcome you all to my the 13th video on the chapter solid state. Yes, in the previous video, that is in the video number 12, we discussed something about non-stoichiometric defects, and of course under that we have two types. Yes, it is metal deficiency defects. Okay, na metal excess defect will be of two types, that is metal excess defect due to anionic vacancies that we completed in the last class. Now in the today's discussion, metal excess defects, yes, it is due to extra cation. Metal excess defects due to extra cation in interstitial sites, and this is the today's discussion. Yes, as I said, as far as metal excess defects are concerned, in the metal excess defects, there will be increase in the number of metal ions. There will be increase in number of metal ions due to the defects there, or you can say that increase in the number of metal ions in a crystal lattice can be brought about by decreasing number of anions, or by, yes, it is anionic vacancies, right? And another way of introducing the metal excess defects is, that is by introducing extra cation in, yes, it is in the interstitial sites. By introducing extra cation in, yes, it is interstitial sites. That is, metal excess defect due to extra cation is due to the presence of extra cation at the interstitial sites. Is due to the presence of extra cation at the interstitial sites. And due to that, the stoichiometry of the ionic crystal changes. Stoichiometry of the ionic crystal changes. In order to convince that, I'll consider one example, that is zinc oxide. Yes, let me consider zinc oxide. As far as zinc oxide is characterized by, yes, it is Zn plus 2 ions and oxide ions, right? Look at the lattice of the zinc oxide. Yes, consider the lattice of the zinc oxide, right? And this is lattice of the zinc oxide. Yes, and in this lattice, you can find Zn plus 2 ions and oxide ions in the lattice sites. One lattice site is occupied by Zn plus 2, another will be by O minus 2, Zn plus 2, yes, it is O minus 2. And this is the lattice of the zinc oxide, yes, where you will find lattice points are occupied by the Zn plus 2 ions and oxide ions, right? And look at the Zn plus 2 and oxide ions at the alternate positions, right? Cation, anion, cation, anion, anion, cation, like that, they are at the alternate positions, right? As far as the stoichiometric ratio is concerned, that is the ratio of Zn plus 2 ions to the oxide ions. It will be, how many Zn plus 2 ions are there here? There will be, yes, it is 8 Zn plus 2 ions, right? How many oxide ions are there? There will be 8 oxide ions. Therefore, stoichiometric ratio is 1:1. Stoichiometric ratio is 1:1. Yes, that's why we write the formula of zinc oxide as Zn1O1. Yes. Okay, now when this zinc oxide is heated, yes, this is what we call it as metal lattice of zinc oxide. The lattice of zinc oxide. Yes, this is lattice of zinc oxide. Yes. The lattice points are occupied by cations and anions. When zinc oxide is heated, yes, it will be converted into Zn plus 2. Yes, it will be converted into Zn plus 2, and O is converted to O2. There, oxygen gas is released and it is escaped. And of course, the electrical neutrality is maintained by releasing 2 electrons, right? So this is what we call it as the reaction when zinc oxide is heated. Yes, and oxygen gas escapes. This extra cation, yes, this extra cation produced will occupy one of the interstitial site. Interstitial site is the vacant site surrounded by certain particles, right? One of the Zn plus 2 is this Zn plus 2 is occupying one of the interstitial sites. That is Zn plus 2 is coming over here. Yes, one extra cation is entered into the lattice, right? Once that extra cation is entered, what happens? Number of positive ions will be increased, number of metal ions will be increased. That is metal excess defect. In the case of metal excess defect, what happens, number of metal ions will be increased. At the same time, electrical neutrality is maintained. In order to maintain electrical neutrality of the ionic crystal, these plus 2 charges are balanced by 2 electrons. They are present at the neighboring interstitial sites. In order to maintain electrical neutrality of the zinc oxide, 2 electrons will occupy neighboring interstitial sites. Nodi, Zn plus 2 is at the interstitial site. Electrons are also at the interstitial site. Now free electrons are available. Once that free electrons are available in the crystal lattice, electrical conductivity increases, paramagnetic property also increases, and due to the presence of these free electrons, we call them as F centers, zinc oxide becomes yellow. That is, zinc oxide acquires yellow color due to the presence of, these unpaired electrons, right? As you know that these 2 electrons will constitute F centers. They impart color to the zinc oxide and zinc oxide becomes yellow. Electrical conductivity increases due to the presence of electrons. Paramagnetic property increases and zinc oxide acquires yellow color. Yes, and of course, one extra cation is occupying interstitial site. Now at this moment, after the defect, look at the ratio of Zn plus 2 to it is oxide ions. Earlier we had 8 ions, now it is 9 ions. And no change in the number of oxide ions, that will be, it is 8 there. Now stoichiometric ratio is, it is changed, of course. 8:8 becomes what we call it as 9:8, or you can say it can be approximately, I am writing 1:1 into 1. One is earlier 1:1, it number of metal ions increase, that is metal excess defect. Then of course formula of the zinc oxide will be, it is Zn1 O1. Now some extra metal ions are added. Now it becomes 1 plus X. Zn1 plus X. Zn1 plus X. Due to the entry of extra cations, certain number of Zn plus 2 ions will be increased. That will be indicated by X there, 1 plus X. X corresponds to 0.1 in this particular example. Yes. So this is what we call it as metal excess defect due to extra cation. Yes. Just observe, in the case of metal excess defects, you just observed, due to the metal excess defects, you observed the presence of unpaired electrons in the crystal lattice, and which will be increasing electrical conductivity. Therefore, these metal excess compounds compounds which will be showing metal excess defects, or used as semiconductors, and where electrons are acting like carriers of electric current, and they behave like n-type semiconductors. And that is what we call it as metal excess defect due to extra cation. Okay na? You just note it down. We'll go for the next one, that is metal deficiency defect. Yes. So we completed metal excess defect due to the presence of anionic vacancies, and the second one is metal excess defect due to extra cation. Now let us see metal deficiency defect. One more non-stoichiometric defect, that is metal deficiency defect. What is that? Metal deficiency defect is a defect which leads to the decrease in number of metal ions. So for this number of metal ions, yes, it is metal deficiency defect, where it is defect decreases the number of metal ions in the crystal lattice. For your information, this kind of defect is observed. It is in the case of metals with variable oxidation states, variable valencies. In the case of metals with variable valencies, we have certain metals like it is iron, cobalt, it is nickel, and it is copper. These are the D block elements. They are characterized by ability of exhibiting variable oxidation states. For example, iron is available in the form of Fe2 plus and Fe3 plus, right? Iron is available in the form of Fe2 plus and Fe3 plus, ferrous and ferric. Yes. And as far as cobalt is concerned, this is available in the form of cobalt plus 2 cobalt plus 3, etc. Yes, even cobalt plus 4 is there, cobalt plus 6 is there. Yes, in the case of nickel we have Ni plus 2 and of course Ni plus 4. Yes, in the case of copper we have Cu plus 1 and Cu plus 2. And of course these are the metals which exhibit, yes, it is variable oxidation states. Such type of defects, metal deficiency defects, will be observed in the case of metals which will exhibit variable oxidation states. Okay, na? And of course, as far as metal deficiency defects are concerned, these are the non-stoichiometric defects in which, or I can say, these are the non-stoichiometric defects which will be arised due to the replacement of metal ion with lower charge. When metal ion with lower charge are replaced by metal ion with higher charge. Okay, na? When metal ion with lower charge in a crystal lattice are replaced by metal ions with higher charge, then metal deficiency defect is introduced. That is, metal deficiency defect is a non-stoichiometric defect which will be arised when metal ion with lower positive charge or metal ion with lower charge is replaced by metal ion with, yes, it is higher charge. And of course the lattice sites of the metal ion with lower charge will be occupied by the metal ion with higher charge, and that introduces what we call it as metal deficiency defect. I'll go for one example, that is ferrous oxide. Yes, this is ferrous oxide. This is the stoichiometric ratio is 1:1. Yes, once the defect is introduced, and of course the formula of ferrous oxide will be changed. That is 0.93. Yeah, 0.93:1. This is the formula. Once that defect is introduced, 1 is 0.93 means number of metal ions decreased. That is metal deficiency. Number of metal ions decreased. Yes. Or you can say it can be like this also. That is 0.96 and of course 1. Here also just observe number of metal ions will be decreased. That is metal deficiency defect. Okay, now in order to convince this particular, yes, it is metal deficiency defect, I'll go for ferrous oxide lattice. The crystal lattice of ferrous oxide. Okay, now look at this crystal lattice of yes, it is ferrous oxide is characterized by Fe2 plus, yes, it is O minus 2. Yes, then it is O minus 2 Fe2 plus, O minus 2 Fe2 plus. Yes, then it is Fe2 plus O minus 2, Fe2 plus O minus 2. Yes, then it is O minus 2 Fe2 plus. Yes, O minus 2 Fe2 plus. Yes, this is what we call it as, yes, it is the lattice of, yes, it is ferrous oxide. It's an ideal crystal with no defects, right? With ideal crystal with no defects. How the ideal crystal with no defects? Yes, so this is what we call it as ferrous oxide. Yes, when these metal ions, Fe2 plus ions with lower positive charge, with lower valency, with lower charge, when they are replaced by its own metal ion with higher positive charge. We have iron, Fe3 plus is there. Yes, we have Fe3 plus ion. Yes, if Fe2 plus ions are replaced by its own metal ion with higher positive charge, when Fe2 plus ions are replaced by its own metal ion with higher positive charge. Look at this. Yes, it is. And of course, charge of iron is plus 3. Charge of ferrous is plus 2. Yes, and of course, for every 2 Fe3 plus ions, 3 Fe2 plus ions are replaced. For every 2 Fe3 plus ions, 3 Fe2 plus ions are replaced. That is in order to maintain electrical neutrality. Yes, 2 Fe3 plus ions are going to replace 3 Fe2 plus. The total charge of 2 Fe3 plus is plus 6. Total charge of 3 Fe2 plus ions will be plus 6. And of course, here 3 Fe2 plus ions, 3 Fe2 plus ions. Yes, look at this. Anyone you can select. Yes, 3 Fe2 plus ions are replaced by, yes, it is 2 Fe3 plus. Yes. Now we have maintained electrical neutrality. I removed 3 Fe2 plus ions. That means I removed plus 6 charges. Those plus 6 charges are balanced by 2 Fe3 plus ions. and remaining one will be vacant. Yes, one vacant site is created. Look at this. The metal atom, number of metal atoms will be decreased. Oh, the earlier, yes, earlier we had like this, that is Fe plus 2 to O minus ratio. Yes, it will be 8:8 ಇತ್ತು ಹೌದಾ 8 Fe2 plus ಇತ್ತು 8 yes it is 8 iron atoms ಇತ್ತು 8 oxygen atoms ಇತ್ತು ಹೌದಾ and once those 3 Fe2 plus ions are replaced by 2 Fe3 plus ions amount of iron ಏನಾಯ್ತು ಈಗ number of iron atoms ಎಷ್ಟಿದೆ ಈಗ number of iron atoms will be 7 there, oxygen will be 8 there, then the metal atom number of metal atoms will be decreased, number of metal iron atoms will be decreased. That is there is a deficiency of metal, and that is what we call it as metal deficiency defect. And as I said, in the case of metal excess defects, metal excess defects leads to the that is existence of free electrons in the lattice. In the case of metal excess defects, the crystal lattice was characterized by free electrons. But here, in the case of metal deficiency defect, the crystal lattice is characterized by empty holes. In the case of metal excess defects, metal excess compounds, electrical conductivity is due to the presence of free electrons. But here, in the case of metal deficiency compounds, electrical conductivity is due to the movement of free holes. Therefore, metal deficiency is a compound with metal deficiency defect. Metal deficiency compounds, they are acting like semiconductors, and that too p-type semiconductors. I am going to discuss n-type and p-type semiconductors in the later discussions. Okay, this is what we call it as metal deficiency defect. Yes, ಏನಾಯ್ತು ನೋಡಿ 8:8 ಇದ್ದಿದ್ದು 7:8 ಆಯ್ತು. Stoichiometry is changed, and of course now the formula becomes Fe 0.96 into O there. ಹೌದಾ ಡಿವೈಡ್ ಮಾಡಿ 7/8 ಡಿವೈಡ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ around 0.9 something ಬರುತ್ತೆ, and it is metal deficiency defect, and this is what we call it as metal deficiency defect. ಆಗ್ಬೋದಾ? Yes, okay na, fine. So this is what we call metal deficiency defect, and with that we have completed, yes, it is stoichiometric defects and non-stoichiometric defects. Now we are at the last discussion, that is under defects, under point defects. It will be impurity defects. Impurity defect, yes, we'll see that. And this kind of defect arises due to the addition of certain impurities to the given crystal lattice, given crystalline substance. When certain impurities are added to the given crystalline substance, the impurity defect is observed. Even in this impurity defect also will bring about certain changes in the properties of the crystalline solid, and that process of adding impurities to change the properties of a crystalline solid is called doping. Doping refers to the process of adding certain impurities to a particular crystalline solid in order to change its properties, and that is called as doping, we call it as. Yes, that is called as doping, we call it as. Yes, and as far as in the case of when impurities are added to the crystalline solid, the possibilities are these atoms or ions, foreign atoms or ions present in the impurity, they are going to replace host atoms or ions in a crystalline solid, and that brings about what we call it as impurity defect. Therefore, impurity defect refers to it is one of the point defect, and it is due to the presence of foreign atoms or ions, foreign atoms or ions in the lattice points of the host atoms or ions, or they may present or they may occupy interstitial sites of the crystalline solids, or they may present these foreign atoms or ions, they may occupy interstitial sites of the crystalline solid, and that results in what we call it as impurity defect. I'll give one example, that is in the case of steel. Steel is characterized by iron atoms. Steel is characterized by lattice of iron atoms. Yes, and when carbon is added to the steel, when carbon is added to the iron, iron is converted to steel. When carbon is added, these carbon atoms are occupying interstitial sites of the crystal lattice, interstitial sites of the iron lattice. And of course here foreign atoms are occupying interstitial sites. So this is also impurity defect. Okay, I'll give one more example. That is when strontium chloride is doped with, or you can say when sodium chloride is doped with, that is when molten sodium chloride is treated with, yes, it is strontium chloride, and the mixture is subjected to, yes, it is when that mixture is cooled, what happens, some of the Na plus ions, are replaced by Sr plus 2 ions, and these Sr plus 2 ions are occupying, yes, it is lattice sites of the Na plus ions. For example, in the case of Na plus, in NaCl, we have Na plus Cl minus, Na plus Cl minus, and it is Cl minus Na plus. This is lattice of sodium chloride. Yes, you just write it out. Let me show you that how exactly this impurity defect is possible. Yes, this is Cl minus Na plus. This is Cl minus and it is Na plus. So this is what we call it as lattice of sodium chloride. Okay, now when strontium chloride is added, strontium chloride produces Sr plus 2. Yes, with a positive charge of, yes, it is plus 2 there. Charge of sodium is plus 1. Charge of sodium is plus 1. Now the charge of the sodium ions will be plus 1. Therefore, for every one Sr plus 2, 2 Na plus ions are replaced. For every one Sr plus 2 ion, 2 Na plus ions will be replaced in order to maintain electrical neutrality. ಈ SR plus 2 ಬಂದು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಕುತ್ಕೊಂಡ ಈ crystal lattice ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದ ತಕ್ಷಣ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, 2 Na plus ions are removed from the lattice. 2 Na plus ions are removed from the lattice because the charge of Sr is plus 2, charge of Na is plus 1. Therefore, for every one Sr plus 2 ion, 2 Na plus ions are removed from the lattice, and 2 vacancies are created. One of the vacancies occupied by Sr plus 2. One of the vacancies will be occupied by Sr plus 2, and another will be remain as it is, and that is vacancies created. Yes, it is. That is what we call it as impurity defect. And of course, here also this will alter the properties of the, yes, it is solid there, crystalline solid, and here when strontium chloride is added to the sodium, Na ions are replaced by Sr plus 2 ions, and for every one Sr plus 2 ion, 2 Na plus ions will be removed from the lattice, and thereby one of the vacant site is occupied by Sr plus 2, another remains as it is, and defect is created, and that is what we call it as impurity defect. Yes. So this is what we call, and this also increases electrical conductivity of solid, and that is what we call it as, yes, it is okay, impurity defects. Okay, now yes, so impurity defect refers to the process, it is due to the presence of, yes, it is foreign atoms or ions. Okay, now foreign atoms or ions in the lattice sites or interstitial sites of the crystal lattice. In the lattice sites of the, yes, it is host ions or atoms, or at the interstitial sites of the crystal lattice, and that is what we call it as impurity defect. Yes, so that is what we call impurity defect, and that's all about what we call it as crystal defects, or you can say that point defects. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತು ಅನ್ಕೋತೀನಿ, ಆಗ್ಬೋದಾ? Yes, now at this moment we'll move on to the next property, that is electrical properties of solids. So one of the, yes, it is fundamental property of solid state, that is electrical properties. Solids are characterized by certain ability. Okay, they have that certain ability to allow the passage of electric current through them in presence of electric potential. That is what we call it as electrical properties of solids. Depending upon the electrical properties of the solids, solids are characterized by, classified into 3 types. One, it will be conductors. Okay, na? Second, it will be insulators, and this classification of solids is based on what we call it as electrical properties. Electrical properties of solid refers to the ability of solid to allow electricity to pass through them. That is called as electrical property there. That is what we call them as the, yes, it is, we call them as conductors, and the third one is what we call it as semiconductors. That is what we call it as semiconductors. Okay, now as far as conductors are concerned, yes, as far as conductors are concerned, they are the substances, they are the solids, okay, now which allow the passage of electric current through them, and that is what we call it as conductors. And as far as conductors are concerned, their electrical conductivity No, we are going to measure that electrical conductivity. We are going to measure that ability of allowing electricity to pass through them in terms of conductivity that ranges from 10 to the power of 4 to 10 to the power of 7. Yes, it is 4 ohm per meter. That is Simon per meter we call it. That's a unit of, yes, it is electrical conductivity. Electrical conductivity of the conductors, it will be, yes, it is 10 to the power of 4 to 10 to the power of 7 per ohm per meter. Yes. And in the case of conductors, we have two types. That is metallic conductors. One, it will be metallic conductors. Yes. Another, it is electrolytic conductors. Another, it will be electrolytic conductors. Yes. So both are having an ability of allowing, yes, it is the electricity to pass through them. That is what we call it as metallic conductors, and yes, it is electrolytic conductors. Metallic conductors are the conductors which allow electric current to pass through them, without undergoing any chemical reaction, without undergoing any chemical change. Such type of conductors are called as metallic conductors. That is, when electricity is passes through the metals, there will be no change in the chemical reaction, there will be no change in the chemical composition. They don't undergo any chemical changes. Such type of substances are called as, yes, it is metallic conductors. And in the case of metallic conductors, electrical conductivity is due to the free movement of the free electrons. Electrical conductivity is due to the movement of the free electrons, and that is what we call it as metallic conductors. Whereas in the case of electrolytic conductors, these are the conductors. They are also conductors. They also allow electricity to pass through them. But the electrical conductivity is due to the movement of the ions. It is due to the movement of the ions. The electrical conductivity is due to the movement of the ions, that is cations and anions, under the electric potential, and that is what we call electrolytic conductors. As far as electrolytic conductors are concerned, they conduct electricity by undergoing chemical change. They conduct electricity by undergoing chemical reaction. And they undergo chemical changes, but metallic conductors don't undergo chemical changes. Any examples you can give here? As far as metallic conductors are concerned, we have copper, aluminium, yes, it is iron. Any metal can be given as an example for, yes, it is metallic conductors. In the case of electrolytic conductors, we have the molten sodium chloride, molten potassium chloride, molten aluminium chloride. These are all the examples for, yes, it is electrolytic conductors. I am using the term molten because in molten state or in solution, these substances contain free ions. Okay, na? And electrical conductivity is because of movement of the free ions, and therefore, yes, it is. These are the examples for electrolytic conductors. And of course, out of these two, the electrical conductivity of metals will be in the range of, yes, it is 10 to the power of 7. Yes, it is per ohm per meter. Yes, that metallic conductors have got very high electrical conductivity. Electrolytic conductors will have low electrolytic conductivity. It will be around 10 to the power of 4 and 10 to the power of 5 per ohm per meter. Yes, per ohm can be replaced by Simon. Yes, Simon per meter. That's also a unit for electrical conductivity, and that's what we call it as conductors. As far as insulators are concerned, and of course, and their electrical conductivity is very, very less, or you can say almost negligible. What we say generally, they do not conduct electricity to pass through them, and that is what we call it as insulators. And of course, electrical conductivity of insulators will be in the range of 10 to the power of minus 22. Yes, it is 10 to the power of minus 10. Yes, it is per ohm per meter. This is electrical conductivity as far as insulators are concerned. And of course, many examples you can go for it. That is rubber, or you can say plastic, or you can say wood. Yes, it is. These are all the examples for insulators. Whereas in the case of semiconductors, that is electrical properties, conductivity of semiconductors will be in between those of conductors. Electrical conductivity of semiconductors will be greater than those of insulators, or you can say it will be less than those of metallic conductors, or it will be in the range of 10 to the power of minus 6. Yes, it is per ohm per meter to, yes, it is 10 to the power of 4 per ohm per meter. And this is what we call it as the electrical conductivity of semiconductors. Electrical conductivity of metallic conductors is concerned. I can explain the conductivity of metallic conductors by making use of one theory, what we call it as band theory of solids. We have one brief discussion on the band theory of solids as far as electrical properties of metals are concerned. We'll see that in the next class. Okay, now in the next class we'll see that the band theory of solids, explanation for the electrical conductivities of metals. At the same time, we have a discussion on what we call it as, yes, it is semiconductors like N-type semiconductors and P-type semiconductors. Apart from that, we're left with the magnetic properties. Okay, na? We'll see that in the next video. Okay, na? Thank you. Right?